Hi. So today we're going to be taking a look at creating a bootable USB drive for like Windows Server installation and Windows 10 installation. Any of the like modern Windows operating systems can follow this process to do that. So let's go ahead and get started. So to create a USB boot drive, so obviously the first thing you need is a USB drive. So any USB drive that's over about 8 gigs or so should be sufficient to deploy any of the OSs. And most USB drives that you're going to buy at the store are going to be probably 32 gigabyte and above for the most part, or maybe 16 gig. What I have here, I have a 64 gig USB drive that I'm going to be using for this process. So the first thing that you need is that you need the actual ISO for whatever operating system that you're trying to install. In my case, I want to install a Windows Server 2016, and I want to do that on a physical system. So if it was on a VM, I don't really need to do any of this. I can just go ahead and mount the ISO and install it. But since I need to do this on a physical system, I can either burn it to a DVD, or I can use a USB drive to perform the installation. So, and if you're going to do the DVD route, you do need to have like a DVD that can handle like over 6 gig or about 6 gig or so. So standard DVD, I believe, is like 4.7 gigabyte. So the ISO for Windows Server 2016 at least can't fit on a standard DVD. It needs to be like a dual layer DVD or something like that to in order to fully fit. But that I digress. Let's go ahead and get started here. So the first thing you need to do, so I've downloaded several Windows Server ISOs here. The one I want to use is this one here. So what I'm going to do, just going to go ahead and right click on it and mount it to my system. All right. So what that does, that goes and mount it, and you see I now have an H drive on this system. So the next part is that you want to go and identify the drive letter of your USB drive. So I'm going to go ahead and insert that into my system now, and I should get a new drive letter that pops up. So after you've inserted your USB drive into the system, you should get a new drive letter that will get assigned to that drive. So in my case, I see I have this new Samsung USB that popped up. And that was assigned the I drive in my case. So pay attention to what drive letter you're assigned, because you're going to need that a little bit later here. So now that we have our ISO mounted, and we also have a USB drive available for us, there's a few other things we need to do. So one, we can just go ahead and just verify the drive. So we see the drive's there. This particular drive is empty. So in your case, if you're using a drive that already has content on there, you definitely want to be sure that you copy that data off of the drive to another location before you continue on with any of the steps I'm about to show you. All right, so I'm gonna just go ahead and right click on my USB drive, check out the properties. See, this one says Samsung USB. It's a 64 gig drive, and it's currently formatted with the exFAT file system out of the box. All right, so the next thing we want to do, we want to go ahead and open up a command prompt, elevate it. So you want to open up a command prompt as administrator. So, and to do that, since I'm currently on a Windows Server 2016 system, so on this system I can actually right click on my start menu, and then I have this command prompt admin option that I can run to elevate up. All right, so back at the command prompt. So back at the command prompt, what we want to do here is run a command called diskpart. Hit enter. Then once we're on diskpart, we want to run a command list disk, right? And then you're going to get spit out every drive that's on your system. And here you want to definitely take care to make sure that you're picking the disk that we just observed. In my case, I saw that I only have a single drive that's 59 gigabyte, and that's my new drive that I just inserted. In your case, if you have multiple drives or other USB devices that are the same sizes connected to the system, you may want to unplug those just to ensure that you don't accidentally modify the wrong disk. So definitely take care when you're doing that. So now I want to go and run the command called select disk, and then see each disk has a number associated with it. In my case, I need to select this disk 10, so I'm going to say select disk 10. All right, so and I'll get a message telling me disk 10 is now the selected disk. So so I know from now on any operations that I issue, it will only be hitting that disk 10 that I'm trying to use right now. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run the command called clean. That kind of just cleans the current things off the disk to prepare for the next steps that I need to do. The next step here is I'm going to create a new primary, what's called a primary partition. So you just type create partition primary. All right. And then now what I do, creating that primary partition process, it created some partitions on the system. So I can do a list partition. I see the one partition there. So I want to go ahead and select that partition by doing select partition. And again, partition, you see it has a number associated with it. I'm going to select partition 1 and hit enter. And now I want to set this partition to be active so I can actually boot off of it. So I'm just going to type the word active. That marks that partition as the active one. And now what I need to do is format this drive using the NTFS file system. So I'm going to say format fs equal NTFS. So NTFS again, that's the file system. I'm going to say quick because I want to do a quick format of the drive. And then I can give the drive a label. So the label can be whatever you want. In my case, I'm going to name it, I'll just name it server 2016, February 2018. The ISO that I'm actually going to copy to here was generated around February 2018. So I'm going to tag that with a label. So if I look at this, I don't know, 6 months down the line, if I put this USB drive in, I'll have some context on what ISO it is, if it's RTM or some other build of the server 2016 release. All right, so I have that all set. I'm going to just go ahead and hit enter. That'll go off and go ahead and format that drive for me. So that shouldn't take too long since we're using the quick method. It shouldn't take too long to format here. And there we go. So it took maybe 5-6 seconds or so, and now it's done, 100% completed. So now we can go ahead and actually just exit out of here. Exit out of this partition part. All right. So now what we want to do, we need to find the drive letter that we have assigned now. So let's go check out what that is. All right. So ordinarily, like once you do that, you should still have the same drive letter that we started with. So this should still be the I drive, since I didn't issue any commands to change the drive letter of the system at all. So as you can see, it still have I drive. It's still blank. But now it's formatted with NTFS file system and not the exFAT that it came with out of the box. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, as you see, I just changed to the iDrive directory. And also what I want to do, I want to go to the drive letter of my DVD or my ISO for Windows Server. So in my case, you see it's on the H drive. So I'm just going to go to change to my H drive by taking H:. So whatever drive letter yours is at that time, that's what you'll use. In my case, again, is H. And then under that drive, there's a folder called boot. So I'm just going to do CDs in boot and change to that folder. If I do a dir, kind of see some files and things that are listed here. So now what I want to do, I want to copy what's called the boot sector from this ISO to my USB drive so I can make that bootable. So how you do that, you can just say bootsec/NT60, and then I specify the drive letter of my USB drive, which is my case, again, it's the I drive. So I'm going to say I: here and hit enter. All right, so that occurred really fast. So boot code was simply updated on all targeted volumes. Now, the last part here, all we need to do now is just to copy all of the content of the ISO to my USB drive. So you can do it that number of ways. You can do it through File Explorer and manually copy and paste everything. You can do it from the command line here and do it. So let's show both ways. So there's numerous different command line copy tools that you can use. And in this case, I'm going to show you Xcopy to copy the drives between each other. So Xcopy. In this case, I'm copying from my H drive. So you can say h:/star.star. Oops, star.star. That means copy everything essentially. And then I specify where I'm copying it to. In this case, I:// and /e/h/f. So I'll show you the commands a little bit later here. There's a lot of options that this command line support. But this is kind of just what I'm going to run here real quick, and go ahead and hit enter. That'll go ahead and start off the copy process of moving everything over. So this will take a few minutes. The files, again, the ISO is about 6 gig in size, and there's a lot of small files and things like that that's on there. So it has to copy all that stuff over to the iDrive. So that will take some time to copy. So I won't bore you with watching my copy here, so I'll go ahead and pause the video, and we'll be right back once this completes. Alright, so that finished completely copied over, so it should be in good shape now. So now I can really just take this USB drive, plug it into another system, reboot that system or turn that system on, and specify it to boot from the USB, and it'll go jump into the Windows installer so I can install an operating system on the system. That's how you can do that. So I had mentioned I was going to kind of show you some of the commands that's available for Xcopy. So let's just show you that right now. So if you do Xcopy /?, you can see all these various different flags that are available on it. So you have a lot of flexibility when you're using Xcopy from command line to have various different logic and apply to your copy process. So I use a couple flags where I said I'm going to copy directories and subdirectories, including empty ones. That was that /e. I believe I also specified /f, so it displays the full source and destination file names while I was copying, so I kind of get some verbose output as it's going. And then I also told it to copy any headings and system files. So if there's any heading or system files on that in those paths, it'll copy all those over as well, so I don't miss them. So like if I would say I was doing this from the command line, from the File Explorer, and just doing a straight copy and paste, if some of those files are specified as hidden or system files, and I don't have the options to display those available or enabled, then those files wouldn't copy over. So I would actually miss a lot of files that I may need if I did it through the File Explorer. But if you have like to show hidden files, show system files, and all those things enabled, and you do a copy and paste, then it'll work just fine. So yeah, so last thing, I did also mention that I was just going to show you if we did it from the File Explorer. So that would just be simply going to the drive, highlighting all the folders, saying copy, and then pasting it to your other drive letter. That's all it will be to it. If you take that route. But again, remember, if you do take that route, there is an option that you need to make sure you have enabled, so because you can run the risk of missing some files potentially. So if you go up to View, this will vary also depending on what operating system you're on. So if you're on like a Windows 10-ish, it may look very similar. But under View, under Options, and then you have this Change Folder and Search options. So if you click on that, and then you'll go under View again, and there's hidden files and folders option. You may want to change that to show hidden files, folders, and drives. So when you're doing the copy and paste, those files are kind of in context. All right, so that about wrap this up. Hopefully this has been useful for you, and I'll see you in the next one.